All right. Episode 2, Insufficient Funds.
Yeah.
So, you go first like you always do.
Okay. So, since it's Masters Week, the greatest
Yes.
week of the year for sports, hands down,
Yeah.
I thought we could do a snake draft on our Masters predictions. So, like, you know how a snake draft works. You go 1, I go 2, I go 3, you go 4.
All right.
You kind of like that. So, I thought I'd let you go first.
I'm going to be a little biased. My favorite golfer, I'm going to go Jordan Spieth.
That's not a terrible pick.
He's won there before.
He's won there before, and I thought about being biased, but I thought I could get my guys later. I think I'm going to go with the safe pick, Scotty Scheffler. And then
it's not a bad pick.
And then with my second pick, I'm going John Rahm. So I'm going Scotty, John Rahm.
My next pick.
Okay, so now you get the next two.
He's due for, I think, a big one. Ricky Fowler.
You son of a gun. You
I know
took my man.
That's your favorite.
You took my man. Okay.
He's due for a big one.
Well, he actually won the par 3 challenge today. So if he can keep his drive,
let him cook.
he can keep his drive in the fairway, Ricky Fowler is wearing a green jacket this weekend. Oh crap. Okay, so
I get to go again.
Yeah, you get to go again.
I mean, the greatest golfer of all time.
You gotta pick him.
I'm gonna pick him.
All right.
Tiger Woods.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
I'm anything for a sucker over a comeback story.
Interesting picks
Even though
there.
he's done it before.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go Koepka and Victor Hovland with my 3 and 4. I'm really liking the way mine's shaping up. So. Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard much about
two.
him. For me, I haven't heard much about this guy, but I'm gonna go DJ.
Okay, he was on my list.
Yeah,
all right,
so
you get
Justin Thomas.
Okay, so you got DJ Justin Thomas, and with my last pick, I see a lot of guys on the board still.
There's a lot of guys left.
Part of me wants to go Morikawa. Part of me wants to go Rory, but Rory's kind of allergic to Augusta.
He's allergic to every day except Sunday.
Homa's a good one, Xander. But I think with my last pick, I think I'm going to go Morikawa. He's pretty safe.
That's a good pick.
He's pretty safe.
He's always a contender.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing great golf lately, but he plays good major golf. I feel like all my picks play good major golf. So to round it out, I've got John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler. I've got John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa, and Scotty Scheffler. Those are my 5.
So I've got Spieth, Ricky Fowler, Tiger Woods, Dustin Johnson, and Justin Thomas.
Dude, those are like 5 huge names. You've got like 4 of my favorite golfers on your list, other than Justin Thomas.
If you had taken some of them, I would have gone Mickelson because I'm a sucker for Mickelson.
I love Ricky Fowler's my favorite golfer of all time. So I'm pulling for Ricky regardless of my picks.
You want to make that interesting? If one of our guys wins it, $5.
Yeah, I'll do that.
$5.
$5. Okay. Yeah, that works.
Works.
And you get to wear the championship belt for the next
We'll
podcast.
Just put it over here, and if you win it, it goes over there.
Okay, works. Now I'm gonna wear it on my shoulder.
Oh, that's fine.
All right. Yeah, that works. So you wanna go into the next thing?
Personal favorite Adam Sandler movie.
Ooh. Okay. You got the big 3. I feel like you've got the big 3 of Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. Waterboy's so good.
None of those are my favorite.
Well, Waterboy's so good, but I've seen it so many times. Same thing with Happy Gilmore.
Those 2 movies I've seen 100 times each.
I know, but I feel like the only one that holds up and is still as funny today as it was the first time I watched it is Billy Madison. It's so stupid, but like
I haven't for that. I've seen them so many times. I haven't watched them. So
Billy
maybe
Madison,
one day I could.
Yeah,
watch
Billy
it
Madison is so funny. That's my favorite of all of his movies. I feel like.
See, mine's gonna be a weird one.
Okay.
I love it. It's more modern, but it's
Zohan.
No, that is a funny movie. But no, it's not. It's The Longest Yard.
That's a good one.
I love The Longest Yard.
I feel like The Longest Yard holds up better as like a movie.
Yeah,
like because it was a movie.
It's a legit movie to me.
Right. Whereas the others are kind of, some of them are just slapstick, funny movies. That's actually got a really good plot. Yeah, that's pretty good. The Longest Yard's a good one. I forget about that one.
It was either The Longest Yard or Big Daddy.
I haven't seen Big Daddy.
I enjoy Big Daddy. It's a good one.
I haven't seen Big Daddy or Little Nicky. I haven't seen
or 50 First Dates.
50 First Dates.
Great.
Oh, that's like another just great movie.
Yeah, it's just a good movie.
Yeah,
period.
it's like that's one of his better movies that he's made.
And he has an underrated one, which it should have gotten an Oscar nomination.
Which one?
Uncut Gems.
I haven't seen that
Uncut
either.
Gems is a great movie.
I've heard it's good. I haven't seen that one.
Your movie knowledge is garbage.
My movie knowledge is really bad. I haven't seen many movies
we need to get him to
since I've
watch
graduated
one.
high school, I feel like. But Grown Ups is not a bad pick either.
That's great movies.
Click, not a bad pick. Ridiculous
that's a
Six
dude.
is underrated as a movie.
It's a great movie.
It's really
It's so
funny.
stupid. It's good.
It's really funny.
I don't like Jack and Jill.
No, it's not one of his best. Anger Management is not terrible.
I've actually have not seen Anger Management.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. You know, bedtime stories, kind of a different vibe.
Yeah, I didn't care for Pixels.
The Wedding Singer. I didn't see Pixels.
I didn't care for it. It was forgettable.
What's the one with Jennifer Aniston in it?
Just go with it.
Is that it?
No, that may be Drew Barrymore again.
Well, there's Blended.
Blended. That's it.
That's the
Blended.
second Drew Barrymore. I think Just Go With It is the one with Jennifer Aniston, where they go to like Hawaii
they go to
or whatever.
Hawaii.
That's a good one. I kind of get it confused with 50 First Dates sometimes, though.
Yeah. Then they've got another. They have another one.
Yeah,
Where they're on a boat. And somebody gets killed.
And then he's got a lot with Netflix I haven't seen. Ow! Just hit the crap out of that hurt. Yeah, I feel like The Longest Yard and Billy Madison are probably.
It's a
two
sports
of his best.
movie and it's funny. And
Right.
and Courtney Cox is in it.
She is in it. Yeah,
She
towards
is
the
in it.
beginning. Yeah, I forget about that part. Oh, prime Courtney Cox, man.
That was prime Courtney
Oh
Cox.
man, prime Courtney Cox. She's still beautiful. I love her. Okay. What about? Okay, I thought about this one a lot today at work. What is the biggest what if in sports?
I mean, you've got your big ones. What if RG3 hadn't got hurt?
That's a big one.
Derrick Rose.
D Rose.
I mean, I remember watching D Rose at Memphis. It was just incredible. Speaking of
That was the first one I wrote
of
down.
Memphis College.
I wrote down.
John Calipari to Arkansas.
Yeah, I wrote down. D Rose was the first one I wrote down because I remember watching him on that run with Memphis, and then watching him be the youngest MVP, and I remember loving Derrick Rose, and then just those knees,
Yeah.
man. Because Derrick Rose, man, he was something to watch.
I think it has to be Derrick Rose.
He was the youngest MVP ever, and was tearing the league up. Had the Bulls, that Bulls team with Taj Gibson and Jimmy Butler, and Noah. What was that dude's first name? I can't remember. But that team was loaded. Bibbs is the coach. Man, I can remember watching that team, and dude, they were loaded.
You don't want
hometown kid.
You don't want to say what the Barstool Mincy said.
What did
He said Aaron Hernandez.
No, we're not gonna bring up Aaron Hernandez right now.
We love Mincy, but
yeah, I was about to say something, but yeah, we're not gonna talk about him. I've got another one. I've got Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck,
Yeah.
Man, that was sad, and that's more. I feel like that's more recent, and I can remember
It's
it a little
fresh
better
on
than
my
Derrick
mind.
Rose. But man, that Andrew Luck thing was
he
tragic.
I felt bad for the Colts, the fans. Really, I don't.
The fans, the owner's terrible. Jim Irsay is terrible,
He's terrible.
But the fans booed him when he
It
retired.
makes no sense.
They booed him, so I don't know if I do feel bad for the Indianapolis fans.
They were just hurt. They didn't know any better.
I mean, they had Peyton Manning and then Andrew Luck.
I mean, it's kind of like if Aaron Rodgers had retired early for Green Bay.
Yeah, maybe. But, man, Andrew Luck was that dude. He was slinging that rock with Dante Moncrief, our boy. Gosh, love Moncrief.
Feed Moncrief.
But I wrote down Andrew Luck, and I wrote down Tiger Woods. People forget Tiger Woods hurt his back in, like, his prime. I can't remember. I don't know the exact age, but he was in his prime.
His prime was forever.
Yeah, and went down with his back. He was in his 30s. And then came back from spinal fusion and all these surgeries, and then was like, oh, nobody thought he could do it again. Then won the Masters, the Zozo Classic,
Well, he's a
and like another one.
He's He's crazy.
Yeah, and then after coming back from all that, and won all those tournaments, had another car wreck. And the fact that the dude can even walk 72 holes.
Just quit. Why is he driving anywhere?
People clown him on Golf Digest comments on this stuff, like, oh, they're like, oh, what place will Tiger get in the Masters? And they're like, oh, he'll be tapping out at the weekend, withdrawing with illness. People that say that piss me off, because the fact that this man's had spinal fusion, the fact he's had spinal fusion, leg surgeries, wrist surgeries,
got hit in the head with
all the surgeries that this dude has had, and he's even walking 72 holes.
Yeah.
Most people, John Daly doesn't walk 72 holes.
No.
And
John Daly
love John Daly, but like the wear and tear on his body, like his swing speed was crazy back when he first came out.
Speaking of Tiger Woods, you know what another craziest what if?
What?
What if Mickelson hadn't got to the prime at the same time as Tiger Woods?
If Phil Mickelson had come out like today, he'd be the most dominant golfer.
He just happened to come out when the greatest golfer of all time.
It's like Ryan Lochte and Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
This is a Ryan Lochte fan page.
I don't support that. I don't support that.
No, I love Michael Phelps, but like, yeah, it's kind of like that. You have two generational, like, top five golfers. Top five golfers. I think Phil Mickelson's a top five golfer of all time, behind Arnie, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger and Gary Player. I don't know if Sam Snead, whoever you want to throw in there, but I think Phil Mickelson. I think Phil Mickelson is a top five golfer of all time.
And those
he loves to roll those dice, though.
Yeah,
gambling gets him.
That's the hard thing with golf is those older guys. Their courses weren't. I don't know. It was the way they counted everything was weird.
Yeah, but they were also swinging persimmon clubs.
It's true.
They weren't hitting. They weren't hitting. They weren't hitting. TSIs, and they weren't hitting. They weren't hitting Rogues and Mavericks and all these. Mizuno irons. They were hitting like persimmon wood clubs,
rubber band balls.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like golf's easier to track. Or like easier to compare than most sports.
Yeah.
Because, the technology and stuff was not as good back then, but their courses were shorter.
Yeah.
But now the technology is better and the courses are longer, and they're about to roll back the ball, which is stupid. But
we won't get us started on that.
But yeah, I think Phil Mickelson, he's a left-handed golfer too. I think he's a top five golfer of all time.
Them calves hitting bombs.
Calves of Adonis. But yeah, I had Tiger Woods, Andrew Luck, D Rose. And I had to put Chad Kelly on there, dude. If Chad Kelly had kept his head on straight, and I love Chad Kelly.
The thing is, you saw a glimpse of it.
Yeah.
In preseason for the Broncos.
Well, you saw a glimpse of it. It was a glimpse of his whole life, man. Like at Clemson, then at Ole Miss.
You saw the potential at Ole Miss.
And then at Ole Miss, then he gets to the Broncos, and he was gonna get a starting.
He was it Paxton Lynch?
Yeah, he was gonna
beat out Paxton Lynch in the pregame.
Well, he probably would have started like the next week or two, and then he broke into that dude's house or whatever.
Was it Von Miller's Halloween party?
I can't remember, man. But like, I think if he had kept his head on straight, like from high school to his NFL career, I don't know if he would be a starter right now, but he would be on a roster in the NFL right now.
Would be. I think he would be a starter.
Because
he's killing it in the Canadian football.
The dude had the talent. He had the talent. He had the technique.
It's in his DNA.
It's in his DNA. But I mean, glad to see him doing well now. Like he's doing good now, and he's our boy. We ride or die with Chad Kelly. Swag Kelly for Heisman. We ride or die with him.
I have a shirt with that on it somewhere.
Dude, like I ride or die with Chad Kelly. Like he's made some mistakes, but I think he's a solid dude deep down. But yeah,
it's kind of like Matt Corral.
Matt Corral, man. I ride or die with Matt Corral even more than I ride or die with Chad Kelly.
We love Swag Kelly, but
Matt Corral, dude was different.
Had that dog in him.
He was dude had that heart, man, like nobody else.
He carried us to the Tennessee victory, literally on his back.
Gimpy leg, man. Like, dude, I hate Tennessee too, man. That was so good. Now it's Jackson Dart's time to shine. Heisman, baby. Heisman for Jackson Dart this year.
He's on my list.
All right, so you want to
go? We'll go transition.
Okay.
That.
All right. Give me 3 dark horse Heisman candidates.
I mean, I have to put our boy on there, Jackson Dart.
And I feel like he's a legitimate dark horse.
He might not even be dark horse at this point.
Maybe.
I've seen him on a bunch of people's lists.
Right.
But the Ole Miss schedule is a good schedule.
Favorable.
Other than Georgia.
Right.
And
but we get them at home.
We get them at home. We have we have one of the top recruiting classes in the country. Transfer classes.
Yeah, portal classes. Well, we're returning all of our offense pretty much, other than one selfish dude that chased a bag.
Yeah. He who must not be named.
Yeah, we're not talking about him. We've got Ulysses Bentley the fourth, who is going to be the leading rusher in the SEC this year.
We got a commit recently for running back, didn't we?
Yeah, for the class of 2025. But I think Jackson Dart is definitely.
Is.
I think Jackson Dart's a dark horse Heisman
candidate.
candidate.
Our schedule kind of helps it a little bit.
Right. Who else you got?
I think Jalen Milroe. Even though he finished 6th last year, he's got a whole new coach.
I feel like people are counting him out.
And he's got a lot more confidence after last year.
And, yeah, I think people are counting him out too.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I didn't even think about him.
And Will Howard. To be honest, I can only think
Our backup quarterback?
No, not Will. That's not him. This is a guy he transferred from
Kansas
State.
I'm thinking of Will
Ohio
Howard.
State.
Okay, my bad. Yeah.
No. This guy transferred from Kansas State to Ohio State.
Walker Howard's our guy.
Ohio State doesn't play anybody. The Big Ten is weak. Other than Michigan and a Penn State, no one else is.
Yeah, but I think Will Howard having such a good run game, because they've not only got Voldemort on their team, they've also got another stud running back who's that dude. So I don't know. I think he's going to kind of have a similar season to their previous quarterback, which I can't think of his name right now, who's transferred to Syracuse. I can't think of his name.
What's his name?
I can't think of it. But my three, I've got Jackson Dart is number one, because, I mean, he's going to be on one of the top offenses in the country on a contender team.
He has a weapon in Trey Harris.
Well, that's my second guy. Trey Harris is a dark horse.
That's true.
Because, and you know, it may be a long shot, but Trey Harris did not get, I mean, he was injured a lot this past year.
He was.
He's coming back. He didn't have to come back. This dude is the real deal. I think he's going to have a better season than A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf. I think he's going to have a better season than Moncrief. I think he's going to have like a Laquan Treadwell type
hope it
of
doesn't
season.
end like Laquan Treadwell.
Well, I mean like Laquan Treadwell's junior year season, like that kind of season. I think he's going to have that kind of season because he knows.
I was talking about the end of his junior year season.
Yeah, well, that was his sophomore season when he broke his leg.
Oh,
yeah,
well, that's right. Yeah, we won the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, that brings back terrible memories. But I think Trey Harris is a long shot because he's a receiver, but dude's going to put up some insane numbers. He's just more physical than any receiver we've had, I think, since Treadwell. Because DK was big, but he wasn't that physical. He stayed hurt a lot.
The thing is, I think A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf would have had that season. But
they were splitting it with each other and DeMarcus Lodge.
Yeah,
DeMarcus Lodge was crazy good.
Just to think about that.
He was crazy. To be the third receiver on a team, he could have been a number one or number two on most SEC teams.
That whole roster we had, and we didn't do anything with it, makes me sick.
But Trey Harris is more physical than any receiver I think we've had since Laquan Treadwell.
We might be just a little biased.
His yards after the catch, crazy.
Person, but he's crazy.
But so for my dark horse Heisman, I've got Jackson Dart, Trey Harris, and my third guy, I got Drew Aller. I got Drew Aller. Look, I watched a lot of Drew Aller games this year and was not impressed, but he's going to have another year under that offense. Jim Harbaugh's leaving in Michigan. If they beat Michigan, it's going to be this year. Going to beat up on Michigan State.
I mean, trust me, I like Penn State.
Yeah. Drew Aller, I think, is going to have the opportunity to.
The thing is, if they don't do it this year, if they don't beat at least Ohio State or Michigan, James Franklin's in the hot seat.
I don't know, but this is their year to do it because Ohio State's got a new quarterback. Yep. Michigan's got a new coach. Drew Aller's a junior this year, right? It feels like he's been a freshman forever. He can't be.
Well, he's sat behind.
Trace McSorley?
No.
Oh, what was that dude's name? Sean Clifford.
Sean Clifford.
But I feel like Drew Aller it's his year if he's going to do it. If Penn State's going to do it,
He's got everything. Penn State has to do it this year.
the stars are aligning. There's a 12-team playoff this year.
Yeah,
If
this is their way in.
If Penn State's going to do it, it's going to have to be on the back of Drew Aller. And, so I think he was my third dark horse. So I got
those are
my
good
dark
picks.
horses. I got Jackson Dart, Trey Harris, and Drew Aller.
I got Jackson Dart, Will Howard, and Jalen Milroe.
I like it. I like those.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Okay. You want to go ahead?
I'm going to swivel over to music. Rank the Beatles.
Is this personal, or is this like who I think's like the greatest? Like who's
We'll
the
go,
greatest, or my personal favorite?
Objectively, not your personal favorite.
Okay. So I think it's easy if you do it like that. Paul's the best.
Okay, yeah.
Paul had the Beatles Paul, solo Paul,
Solo Paul.
which, maybe I'm amazed is one of the best songs of all time. Then Wings Paul.
I haven't listened to the Wings.
Dude, the Wings are so good.
underrated.
So
no one ever talks about them.
I think Paul McCartney has had 3 Hall of Fame musical careers.
Yeah.
And that's just that I know
It's
about.
kind of like Eric Clapton.
I mean, maybe, yeah. And then, so I think Paul McCartney's got to be number 1. Then John Lennon's got to be number 2.
Thing is, John Lennon might be number 1 if he had been cut short.
He was already 40, though. Like, he would have rocked the 80s, I think, no doubt. But his solo stuff is really underrated. Watching The Wheels, such a good song,
Great
dude.
song.
Such a good, and I think he was just kind of hitting his stride.
Yeah.
I think he would have been really good in the 80s, but I think he's got to be number 2, but I don't think he's that far ahead of George Harrison.
He's not. George Harrison has a really good solo career.
George Harrison has a solid, All Things Must Pass, so good,
So
dude.
good.
And then he had poppier stuff like Got My
Got
Mind Set on You, My Sweet Lord, Give Me Love. Like, he's got so...
Then he's in the Traveling Wilburys.
Traveling Wilburys. Like, John Lennon's 2, but it's not by much. And then
Ringo's not. People trash on Ringo.
I'm not trashing Ringo, but he's 4th, and it's set. He's set as much in 4th as Paul McCartney is as 1.
Because you have the first 2 are generational talents, if not bigger than that.
Yeah, they're generational songwriters. They're generational performers.
Yeah, musicians all around.
You had 2 top 10 musical minds in the same band, and then if you throw George Harrison in there, you had 3 top 40.
I even put higher. I'd
30 maybe.
Yeah, I'd put top 30.
Like, in the same band, like, George Harrison's songwriting is unreal. And Ringo's not a bad musician in his own right. But,
no, I mean his drumming is influential.
Yeah,
it's crazy influential because
he's got some good songs too.
Because he's a left-handed. He's a lefty playing drums right-handed way.
And he's got some good songs in his own right. I just think that he's the weak link.
I mean, he is, but he was what he needed to be.
Right, peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
But yeah, okay, what about you?
That's literally the exact
That's
same. That's the only logical answer.
I think that's the right order. If you sat down and said George Harrison's in front of John Lennon and you made a case for it, okay, but
only way I could see you make that argument is because he had a longer career.
That's it. But Imagine is one of the most iconic songs of all time.
It's good. It is one of the most iconic songs of all time.
I mean, just imagine if you heard it for the first time, though.
I think this is hard to do with Beatles songs because you can never remember the first time you ever heard any of them because you've heard them all your life.
I mean, there's a few that I can remember. I can remember the first time I heard "While My Guitar Gently Weeps."
See, I grew up with it on the.
See, I grew up with more of the "Love Me Do" Beatles, pre-Sergeant. I grew up with pre-Sergeant Pepper,
pre-trip to India.
Yeah, I grew up with Rubber Soul and before.
See, I grew up with the other stuff. My first Beatles album I ever listened to was Sgt. Pepper.
My first one would have been probably Rubber Soul or Help or something like that. That's the Beatles I grew up on. And then I found out about the psychedelic Beatles and Abbey Road Beatles, Let It Be Beatles, and it changed me.
I knew about that the whole time.
Because I didn't like the Beatles that much. I'm like, I want to hold your hand. It's a cute little song.
I like that.
I do now.
I like their earlier stuff.
I do now, but as a kid, I was drilled with it, I feel like. And then I heard some of their more serious songs like Blackbird and let
Long-
it be
the Long Winding
and
Road.
winding road.
It's top 10 song of all time.
Probably my favorite Beatles song. Maybe While My Guitar Gently Weeps is my
I couldn't name you a top Beatles
something.
song.
Oh,
Thing
something.
Something is. It maybe 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, would have been my favorite. But
so good.
I've heard it 10,000 times, done by 10,000 different people.
Well, that's kind of like Here Comes the Sun.
Yeah.
Like I've heard it in The Parent Trap one too many times.
The only movie it's great in is
It
the B movie.
Well, it's good in The Parent Trap, I will say.
It is good in the Parent Trap, but the B movie, perfect.
Okay, yeah. All right, I got one for you. Do you think you could score a basket
No.
in an NBA game first, or do you think you could pick up 5 yards
5
rushing?
yards. Me being a bigger dude, I could pick
Up
5
the
yards.
gut.
Dang.
Up the gut, 5
No,
yards.
you didn't say up the gut.
Well, you think you're going to get around an offensive line and
I may be
and
fat,
break-
but I'm quick.
you think you're going to break
Yeah.
a linebacker?
Yep.
Dude, my mid-range is ready for this. My left-handed layup
Yeah,
is disgusting.
There's no way you're getting in the paint.
Dude,
There's no,
my
absolutely
left-handed
no way you're
layup-
getting in the paint.
Dude, have you seen my finish with my left-handed layup?
Yeah, I
Dude,
have.
it's ridiculous.
It's not good.
It's ridiculous.
It's not.
My mid-range jumper, dude, I look like Chris Paul.
All right, next question. This is not
Three-point shot. No, I'm not getting a three-pointer. I think, realistically, it would take me hours to do either. Maybe days. But I think I would die. A linebacker hits me, I'm dead.
Yeah, you're made of glass.
Dude, like, a linebacker hits me, I weigh 180 pounds. I'm dead. I'm dead.
And that's recent. You should be a lot
Right,
smaller
like,
than that.
I'm 6'2" and 180 pounds. Like, I'm dead. Like,
I'm 6'2", 250.
I think my chances
okay.
of maybe getting a layup or maybe getting a three-point shot off if I've got,
Maybe you're on the opposite side of the court and chuck it.
like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, half-court granny shot. Like, I feel like that's a better chance.
That's your only option.
That's a better chance of me.
Maybe I can bully somebody in the paint. I could probably get a point in an NBA game.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like they put Giannis on you or they put Patrick Beverly's locking either one of us up and we're never moving. So
Beverly.
I don't know really the right answer here, but I do know that I wouldn't die by playing.
Your chances of survival
My
are
chances of survival,
greatly improved in the NBA.
right? I'm dying the first time that,
Or you could slightly elbow LeBron and he goes down crying.
right, and then I get the shot
Oh, there
off.
you go.
Whereas I
He's
feel
crying
like,
to the ref.
yeah, man, like
NFL, you're not making it.
NFL, I'm not making it, man. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
No.
Like,
That's a smart
TJ
answer.
Watt's gonna come around and kill me.
Yeah, your head's gonna get kicked off.
Yeah, dude's gonna come around and like absolutely kill me. So I feel like the right way to go for me is to hit a nasty mid-range jumper,
I think I could
bust it.
I think if I had time to prepare, I could make 5 yards.
Okay, so we're going separate ways here,
Yeah.
but
Purely based off of, I mean, I could probably do the NBA.
that's some like that's that's a lot of confidence, man. Because I know I couldn't do the NFL. I know I could.
I know you couldn't.
Like I know I'd die, but anyways,
Yeah, we wouldn't let you do that.
yeah, I would die. I almost said
it'd
kick
be-
a field
it-
goal,
it-
but
it
that would have
would-
been too easy with kicking the field goal.
I could
feel
kick a field goal. I've done it before.
like. But yeah, so that's where I'm
Yeah.
going with that. You want to take it?
Top 5 worst states. Personal
Oh,
opinions.
this is so easy. I wrote it down, but I could recite it again if I need to. Number 1, worst state of all time, Arkansas.
It's on my list. It's not
Arkansas.
number one, though.
I hate Arkansas. The only good place in Arkansas is Jonesboro, Arkansas.
That's right,
Jonesboro, Arkansas is heaven on earth.
It has a couple people.
It has
we like.
a couple people that we love. So Jonesboro, Arkansas, but that's basically Memphis, but they'll just adopt
Yeah.
it. But Arkansas is 1, West Virginia's 2.
That's my number 2.
There's
There's
3.
nothing there.
3, I've got a hot take. California. Like
Okay.
California's
It's
got
not a hot take.
well, California's got great things about it, but it's also got terrible things about
Very
it.
terrible things about it.
So I'm going California. 4, I'm going Mississippi, and we live in Mississippi.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't have any water. It's
don't have any water. What are you talking about?
Jackson, the whole water crisis.
We're in North Mississippi. We have water.
I'm just saying, as a whole, the state of Mississippi could be better. And I love Mississippi living
Yeah.
here. And then
No one could talk crap about Mississippi except us.
right. And then 5, I'm going Delaware because I don't believe it exists.
Yeah,
It's not real.
Delaware and Connecticut don't exist.
Well, UConn just won the Natty, so they exist. You get a
Yeah,
pass,
yeah, you get
Connecticut.
Yeah, they won.
But Delaware, the Blue Hens or whatever, Joe Flacco, you don't exist.
What
Delaware
even,
doesn't
What even
exist.
is Delaware?
I don't know where it is. I couldn't put it on a map because it's not real.
I
It's
just-
over there with Rhode Island and Connecticut and all
in
those little
Maryland.
Maryland. Yeah, like it's over there. They don't exist.
It's unimportant.
Yeah, they don't exist. So
I
that's
have-
that's my 5.
Number 1, Ohio. I hate Ohio.
Dude, you don't like Ohio?
No. Ohio State. I hate them. Cleveland. That's it.
Okay. So
Nothing else.
Ohio's number 1. Okay.
West Virginia. There's nothing there.
Man, yeah. Unless you want coal, what are you doing?
Well, they don't even want coal anymore.
Right, man.
I've been through West Virginia.
I've never been to West Virginia, but maybe you should have stayed with Virginia. I don't know why
Well,
you.
they split apart for good reasons.
Why'd they split?
Virginia wanted to be a slave state, and West Virginia was like,
Maybe you're not that bad,
okay,
West
come
Virginia.
on, don't
Maybe
start
you're
sta-
not
don't
that
say
bad.
Stuff you know.
I didn't know. Maybe you're better than Virginia.
Virginia's for lovers. That's the motto.
Sorry,
Number
West
3
Virginia.
Number 3 is California. We agree on that one.
California. Yeah.
California has good music. A lot of stuff comes good. A lot of good, but lots of bad.
Right.
Poop on sidewalks.
But when you're that big, you're gonna have good and
yeah,
bad.
I mean,
But you're still on the list.
number 4, Alabama.
Okay.
I know you like some things about Alabama here recently.
Well, but like I feel like Alabama's got beach. Like you've got a lot going on in Alabama. Gulf Shore. Like you've got a lot
I
going
don't.
on.
As you know, I don't like the beach.
Alabama's got a lot of nice stuff about it though. You've got a lot of big
but
cities.
you've got Auburn, Laquan Treadwell's leg. Alabama, Nick Saban.
You know how I feel. Why would you say that?
Alabama was our nightmare forever.
I don't hate Alabama.
There's reasons for that.
I don't hate
number
Alabama.
5 is Arkansas, except Jonesboro.
Except Jonesboro.
It's a little
Jonesboro,
circle. I love
Jonesboro and Arkansas State are okay.
Yeah.
Fayetteville,
and
you know what you are.
what's the hospital?
Same. Well, we don't need to be dropping. We don't need to be dropping the hospital.
And a certain hospital.
Yeah, we don't need to be dropping the hospital. But we
Yeah.
do love some people in the hospital.
Yeah.
The hospitals in Arkansas. Yeah, we love Jonesboro.
We love Jonesboro.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay.
It's a little pocket of heaven and hell.
Right. Okay. I've got one. Here's a hard hitting one. So you're going to a deserted island.
Okay. I have a questions with it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go
You
ahead and
can
finish.
bring 3 albums with you to
Mhm.
listen to on repeat to this deserted island, and
Okay.
that's all you can ever listen to ever again. What
Okay.
3 albums are you taking?
Do I have food and water? Like, am I good?
Yeah.
okay,
It's
okay.
just you're gonna only have 3 albums.
Okay.
How would that affect your album picks though?
Because I'd be sad.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
What?
You got water.
All right. All right. My first pick is arguably the greatest album of all time. Led Zeppelin 4. There's not one song I would skip on that album.
It's a good album, but that wasn't one of my picks, but it is okay. Fair.
They have one of the greatest songs of all time, Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, okay. It's not my favorite song on that album though.
No, was it When the Levee Breaks is my favorite song on the album.
Okay.
But
I was going to California as my favorite.
it's a great top 5 of theirs.
Yeah.
Then you got Black Dogs on it too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a good album. Great album.
Then I'm on the beach. I need a song for beach vibes.
Okay.
Songs for the Saints by Kenny Chesney.
I didn't even think about being on a beach. Yeah.
That is probably one of my favorite country albums of all time.
That's his best
It's
album.
super underrated album.
Great album.
Non-skip. There's not one skip.
I
on
did
that
not
album.
think about that album though.
And then
I go back to that album every year.
at least once a year.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially when it's time to fish.
I like that.
Then this next one is kind of a recency bias, but it's got a lot of songs on there. It's got a lot of songs on there that I can listen to. It's Morning Glory by Oasis. It's so
You had
good.
such a good list, and then you just crapped the bed.
It's my list, not yours.
Okay.
But I have 2 honorable mentions.
Okay.
That I couldn't. One is another top 5 band of all time. It's Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. Every song on that album is great.
Yeah, and diversity, but
Yeah, man. I mean, that's why I've got
okay.
other ones. And then one more, his best album, Cutting Grass Volume 1 by Sturgill Simpson.
Volume 1, baby. Some people say Volume 2 is better. I say Volume 1's better.
I can see the argument, but I like Volume 1 better.
Volume 1
all around you.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
All the pretty colors. Oh, man. Okay, so my top 3 are my 3 albums I'm taking to a deserted island. Okay, I've got my number 1 album of all time. I feel like most people at least consider it in the conversation. It's my number 1 album of all time. The Stranger, Billy Joel.
Okay, I thought I was going to say something else. But I'll
The
allow
Stranger, Billy Joel is my number 1 album.
It's a scary album cover, but
it was a spooky album cover as a kid, but man,
still is.
Dude, like just within that album, you've got Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, The Stranger,
Yeah.
Everybody Has a Dream,
Is it
Moving
Vienna?
Out,
Is Vienna on there?
Vienna. She's Always a Woman. There's no skip on that album, and like it gives you a good variety. Like I'm moving out to Everybody's Got a Dream, or like almost 2 different genres, and it's
Billy Joel is underrated.
That is my favorite.
That's a good pick.
That's my
good
number
pick.
1 album of all
Very,
time.
very good pick.
Then 2, I'm going Rumors. Dude, Rumors is stacked. And
Yeah.
I know it's getting a lot of hype lately, but Rumors has been one of my favorite albums since
Only
I was a kid.
reason I would, they're still in the same time period, close to the same time period. I'd want more more variation. with
Yeah,
that.
but like
it's still.
I think
it's
they're
still,
actually the same year, 1977.
Are they really?
I know The Stranger's 1977. I think
that
Rumors
sounds
is too.
about right. That's crazy. Those
Um,
2 albums come out the same year.
But they're different genres. You got piano music and heavy like guitar music. Never Going Back
Yeah.
Again and
Mm.
The Chain and You Make Love and Fun. Oh, so good. Secondhand News. I was listening to Secondhand News on my way home today.
Well, the thing is with Fleetwood Mac,
You get 3
and-
different singers in
and-
that album. And if
It's
I get the deluxe version, I get Silver Springs too.
yeah. But the thing is with Fleetwood Mac, the past 5 years, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, I would have said Fleetwood Mac was underrated.
Yeah.
Now
Oh, yeah,
I'd say
for
they're
sure.
just a touch overrated.
Okay.
I still love them, but they're a touch overrated.
And then with my third, this was kind of hard, but I can't imagine a life without Turnpike Troubadours. So I
See,
had
this is my version of Oasis.
I
your
had to
version of
think
Oasis.
about which one is my favorite album.
Gosh.
And my favorite album, I think, is their self-titled album, which is their third album. But when I think about songs that I could listen to for the rest of my life, I got to go Diamonds and Gasoline.
It's great.
'Cause
Great. I'll allow that.
you've
That is
got-
a very good song.
Well, that you've got that song. You got Evangeline, which is probably my favorite of their songs. You've got Shreveport, which is a top
Thing
10
is,
song for
I
them.
guarantee you I've heard these songs. And I could.
Long Hot Summer Day, 7
good
and
song.
7, Whole Damn Town, Kansas City Southern, like The Funeral. That man, dude, that whole album stacked. But I didn't write down any honorable mentions.
I just. Had
But I
to.
can do it off the top of my head. Sticky Fingers, Rolling Stones.
The Rolling Stones suck.
I love that album.
That's a hot take.
I love that
That's
album. And then I think I want to go with something. I've got some country. I've got some rock. I've got some piano music. I've got some softer rock. I think I want to go with, for my fifth pick, I think I'm going to go What's Going On, Marvin Gaye. I got to have some of that.
That's a great.
If I get 5 albums, I got to have some of that.
Thing is, I'm getting soul with Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Robert Plant's very soulful, but
Right, and yeah. And if I could take a greatest hits album with me, it's cheating.
yeah, I didn't. I was like, do I have greatest hits? But no,
the
that's cheating.
Stevie Wonder Definitive Collection would be on there, and then Eagles Greatest Hits Volume 1
I
would
was
be on
just
there.
gonna say which one?
Volume 1.
Volume 1. Okay.
Yeah, Volume 1.
The greatest selling album of all time.
Yeah,
Doesn't
that would
count.
be on there, but those don't count.
Yeah.
Those are, I think both. Yours got better with your your first 2 were stacked. I didn't even think about those, but
Zeppelin 4. Thing is,
Zeppelin 4 is so good. I forget.
Thing is, with Led Zeppelin, no one realizes it. Their first 3 albums are in the
Within like 2 years of each other.
are in the conversation of top 10 greatest albums of all time, and they were within like 3 years of each other.
Yeah, like they came out in I think 1969 or either 1969
Yeah.
1970.
They
and
were like back to back.
Led Zeppelin 2 came out the same year as Led Zeppelin
and they
1.
were 18 years old.
Dude, that's nuts.
Jimmy Page had just left the Yardbirds.
That's a good segue into this next
Go
into
ahead.
top 5 guitarists.
Top 5 guitarists.
And this is personal because mine are
It's
very personal.
Mine's very personal as well because there's a lot of people. You could go Steve Vai and John Frusciante.
Oh
but
man, yeah.
They're great, but that's not personally my favorite.
Right.
My number one. We'll go back and forth.
Okay.
Number one, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Okay.
Insane.
Okay.
Died way too soon.
My number one, Lindsey Buckingham.
Lindsey Buckingham.
Dude's like style and technique is
It's
nuts
crazy.
to me.
Never going back again.
Hard song to play.
How are his hands not bleeding from cramps?
All their songs are hard to play.
It's ridiculous.
Lindsey Buckingham was my
Lindsey
one.
Buckingham. You can't have a top 5 list, no matter how you feel, without this person, Jimi Hendrix.
I left him off
God.
mine. I thought about it, and I love Jimi Hendrix, but I did more personal, like what I like to listen to.
Everybody and their mama is influenced by Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, for sure. He's a top 5 guitarist of all time, but I did more personal.
Yeah.
I did with my number 2, I went Keith Richards.
Keith Richards is insane.
Keith Richards, influential. He's not the best technique-wise. No. He's not doing the most crazy things on the guitar. But when I think about my favorite guitarist, Keith Richards. Keith Richards was a huge influence on me musically.
Crazy.
He's the reason I have
iconic.
a Telly. I bought the same color Squire, but...
Hey, a Telly's a Telly.
Yeah, I bought that color because Keith Richards played it.
He has iconic riffs. He just got ruined by Mick Jagger's terrible voice.
Dude, no. Okay. Well, anyways, that's my 2.
And then slow hand himself for me, Eric Clapton.
I thought about Eric Clapton.
Eric Clapton is a very huge influence in my life.
He gets an honorable mention for me.
I have a picture of him on the wall.
But my number 3 is very heavily influenced by Eric Clapton, John Mayer. Like John
Mayer is my number 1 artist of all time.
I love John Mayer. He had to be on my list.
Hot take.
He had to be on my list.
John Mayer's crazy good.
Yeah, I had to have John Mayer on a top 5 guitar list for me.
And then mine is Jimmy Page.
Okay.
Jimmy Page. And he's been getting a lot of crap recently on TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why you'd hate on Jimmy Page.
And about his style, he's not good. Like, you're crazy.
Yeah, that's a crazy take. Okay. I've got number 4 for me, Brad Paisley. Brad Paisley is such a huge influence on me just in life.
Yeah.
Like I love Brad Paisley.
He's a great guitarist, but I just don't care for him.
Well, it's chicken picking, It's a different style, and
Yeah.
I thought I was like I want to go a country guitarist. I thought about Glenn Campbell. I thought about Jerry Reed. I thought about Don Rich. But Brad Paisley, man, he's my dude. He's my dude. I love him.
My final pick is B.B. King.
Okay.
I love B.B. King.
Okay.
His whole
I
album
like B.B. King.
with Eric Clapton is insane.
Yeah, it's a good album. And his song with John Mayer
is
really good.
ridiculous. Hummingbird is crazy.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. I went with my 5th pick. I was like, I don't want to go Jimi Hendrix. I don't want to go Jimmy Page. I was like, I want to go somebody who I really enjoy, who when I listen to their music, I listen to their guitar. And for me, that's Queen, Brian May.
He almost made my list.
I'm like, for my 5th pick, because when I listen to Queen, of course I'm listening to Freddie, and I'm listening to the harmonies, but I'm like, man, like every time I listen to any Queen song, I think, man, Brian May's underrated.
He's crazy underrated. No one ever brings him up.
Like I think that every time I listen to the Queen, like any Queen songs, when I'm listening to,
he's in the top 10 guitarists of all time.
Yeah, when I listen to Love of My Life, like I just think Jimmy Page, so underrated. So
Brian May.
Brian May, so underrated. Anytime I listen to Love of My Life, Brian May, so underrated. See, I'm even forgetting his name right here because he's that underrated.
The thing is, I know you don't know who this is. I was like, who is that? I'm like, what's his name? I almost said James May, but that's off of Top Gear.
Oh, well, I think I put 2 underrated guitarists in Lindsey Buckingham and Brian May. I think are your 2 most underrated. You throw in Mark Knopfler in there. I think those are your 3 most.
Mark Knopfler is.
Those are your 3 most underrated guitarists, I think.
And then there's a country artist.
Glenn Campbell and Jerry Reed.
No, them 2. There was one. His music's not very good anymore, but early 2000s, Keith Urban.
I feel like everybody knows he can though.
He can, but here recently, his music is just.
Well,
not
he makes
good.
elevator music kind of now.
Country elevator music, not even country anymore, pretty much.
But man, that Closer to You era, like like Put You in a Song and Long Hot Summer and Blackbird. Oh man, that's a great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Right.
All right. Let's see. How about we go into... Okay. what show, if you could insert yourself into like a main character role in a show, so like if you pick The Office, you're working in The Office, like you're just another character there. What show are you throwing yourself into like right now?
Which is actually kind of a good segue because we just got through talking about music. I'm going That 70s Show, just because just for the music.
Okay.
And the 70s were a great time.
No, I'm sure they were a great time. So that's your pick.
Just that 70s
I wrote
show.
down 3 because, man, obviously I want to be in Friends because,
Courtney Cox.
well, I feel like me and Chandler would be great friends, and I feel like me and Ross would be.
As long as you don't go swimming.
I feel like I'm a mixture between Chandler and Ross as a person. And then, like, I feel like I'd be really good friends with Joey, too. I feel like I'd be really good friends with the dudes. But, man.
Hey, I think you'd be really good friends with Phoebe.
I'd be really good friends with Phoebe. And I'd be really good friends with Monica and Rachel.
She can cook.
Me and Rachel wouldn't be as good of friends. But I feel like I'd be really good friends with Monica and really good friends with Phoebe. And I feel like I'd marry Monica instead of Chandler. I'd be that dude.
You're completely okay with that.
What?
You're completely okay with that.
With marrying Monica?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Of course I'm okay
with. She
with.
can cook.
Yeah, I'm more than okay with marrying Monica. Monica is,
and then you have her parents as in-laws.
and I love Jack and Judy Geller. They would love Jack and Judy Geller would love me. Ross would love me. Monica is my ideal woman. Like everything about Monica is like my ideal wife. I also wrote down How I Met Your Mother, but the more I think about that, the more I don't think I would want to be.
No.
Because I feel like I'm too much like Ted Mosby.
Two Ted Mosbys.
I am Ted Mosby, and 2 Ted Mosbys. There's only room for one Ted Mosby at McLaren's, and I don't think it would be me. So I take that off.
Yeah, because you're not an architect. He's an architect. Architect's more impressive.
And I wrote down Andor because I would die.
And you can't. You're not a good swimmer.
I would die in the first season of Andor because I'd die with what's his name?
Don't ask me.
The dude that plays.
I can't even think of his name.
Yeah, I would die.
Gollum and Lord of the
I would
Rings.
die in Andor.
Yeah, that's not.
So I'd put myself in Andor.
Because I would like to be in Star Wars, but
no, I don't want to be in the Star Wars universe. But the only place I want to be in Star Wars is Naboo. That's the only place I would want to be.
Naboo, of course, not be all right.
Naboo. I could see myself being a Naboo boy. But yeah, so I'm going Friends because I feel like I would gel good with them, and I would be in the I Hate Rachel club too, so it would work. I would pick Friends.
All right, best trilogy of all time.
Okay, I thought about this for a second.
There's only one.
I know what your pick's going to be. I didn't go that because I haven't watched the movies. I haven't watched Harry Potter. I haven't watched Lord of the Rings. I haven't watched like a lot of these big trilogies. The original Star Wars trilogy crossed my mind. I'm like, no, that's too easy. The original Shrek trilogy crossed my mind. Thought that's too easy. And then it was a really easy pick from there. The new Planet of the Apes trilogy, love it.
People don't think about those.
I love those movies.
I haven't seen the third one.
I'm a huge Planet of the Apes guy. Like even the original ones, like huge.
Mark Wahlberg version.
It's not my favorite, but I'm a huge Planet of the Apes guy. So like when I saw the new trilogy, dude, that was amazing. I love it, and they're coming out with a new one, and I will be there.
Good.
I love them. That's my trilogy.
So I can watch it.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, but there's only one correct answer, and Star Wars is my favorite thing of all time, but it's not Star Wars.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
It's got to be Lord of the Rings. There is no other option.
I can't refute that because I've never watched Lord of the Rings, but I've heard they're great.
But the second pick, and the reason Lord of the Rings is that way is because they filmed it all at once.
Right.
But the second pick is the Dark Knight trilogy.
Never watched that either.
Gosh.
So I can't. I gotta watch more movies.
You really gotta watch more movies.
I gotta watch more movies.
So much. But yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy is number 2. But Lord of the Rings is crazy good from start to finish.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I bet that they're really good, and I bet if I watched both of those trilogies, I'd love them.
The thing is, I watched Lord of the Rings as a kid, and I thought it was cool, but I got older and watched it again. There was so many things I didn't get when I was a kid because it's a very complicated story.
Yeah, see, I've never watched it, so I feel like I need to watch Harry Potter. I need to watch Lord of the Rings.
For a certain reason, you need to watch Harry Potter.
I need to watch the Dark Knight trilogy. There's a lot of trilogies I need to watch, is what I'm getting.
I wouldn't put a Harry Potter in a trilogy, because you can't watch just 3 of them.
That's true. That's not a trilogy, but I do need to watch Harry Potter.
You need to watch Harry Potter.
I've heard they're good.
They're great movies. The books are great too.
Okay, well,
Lord of the Rings are good too.
I think the last thing we've kind of got here is, and then we'll wrap it up because my laptop's getting low too. What is your favorite Disney movie?
Objectively or personally?
Personally.
Well, I wore this movie out as a kid. Still the VHS. It's The Country Bears. Go ahead and get it. Yeah.
Dude, I've literally got The Country Bears sitting right here.
Such an underrated
VHS.
movie.
Original copy. Dude, I wrote down The Country Bears, but I knew you would too, so I thought deeper. And
you can't pick Star Wars.
No Star Wars, and I didn't pick.
No, you don't like Marvel anyways.
No, and I thought deep.
That doesn't count.
I thought deeper. I dug deep into my Disney movies as a child, and I went, and it's so underrated movie. Billy Joel does the soundtrack for it. Oliver and Company.
That is a very good movie.
It's so good. It's so underrated too. Like in the soundtrack, great. So that I went with that.
Yeah. Well, Country Bears has a great soundtrack.
It does, and Tarzan does too.
Tarzan's my number 2. For a long time, it was my number 1. Phil Collins killed.
Brother Bear's got a good soundtrack too. But yeah, I'm gonna go Oliver and Company because it doesn't get enough love.
I can't remember what it's about, but I know it's good because I've seen clips of it recently.
It's about like a cat that.
Speaking of cats,
like it's about a cat that doesn't get. Like all these little kittens are in a box, and they all get chosen other than this one cat, and he's like on the streets alone.
So they adopt him.
The dog like kind of takes him in. Yeah.
Speaking of cats, another underrated Disney movie
Aristocats. Dude, yeah, Aristocats.
The piano scene where they're falling through the building.
Yeah, there's a lot of good movies like that are underrated.
The kids don't know about them these days.
No, they don't.
They should watch Frozen.
Frozen 2 and Pixar. But that's a topic for a different day, Pixar movies.
Yeah, we'll get to that next time.
We got to wrap it up.
Well, that's episode 2.
Right.
We'll catch you guys later and see you.
All right, see you.